third time lucky. I've done this vlog 3 times and either I got interrupted because the phone rang, or Paul turned up, or I forgot to press record. So I'm a real professional. So yeah, I was just going to do a quick video because this is really funny. Now, for anyone who knows me, you know that I like to walk with one foot in this world and one foot in the other. So I love ghosts, anything out there, like UFOs, anything at all. So my mum phoned me yesterday and she said, my clock keeps spinning round and stopping at 12 o'clock. And she said, I don't know what's going on with it, it's weird, I've changed the batteries and it did it again. And she said, I don't understand what it is. So my Auntie Susan's in the background and she's screaming, laughing, going, there's a ghost, there's a ghost. and my mum goes, I'm changing batteries again. So she changed them again and it started spinning round again and it stopped at midnight. So I said, somebody's trying to get hold of you and it's a message. And she said, yeah, but who is it and why? And I said, I don't know. But that's what they do. Spirits use electrical things and also clocks. It's something. And it just reminded me of when I had a poltergeist in my house. And this is going back to, my children were still at home and they were young. So my youngest daughter was about 10. So going back maybe 14 years ago now. And they got a poltergeist in the house. Oh my gosh. And the first time I was sat in the living room and opposite me was the fire with a mantelpiece, and on the top of it was one of those like carriage clocks, and my husband was sat in the bay window to my left, and I was talking to him, and out of the corner of my eye I see the clock start to just move like that. And I turned around to look at it and it just flew at me. And my husband jumped up and ran out of the house and said, that's it, I'm not living here again. It freaked him out. But it landed at my feet and then just dropped on the floor. And I'm like, right, okay, somebody's trying to tell me something. And I couldn't get any sense. The frustrating thing is, right, I know that it's spirit trying to get in touch, but I can't communicate with them. That's something I've not learnt to do. So I was so frustrated. And then there were many incidents. One of them was, we were all in bed one night. It was early hours of the morning, but we hadn't got up. And we all heard the same thing at the same time. And it was a sound of smashing glass. And my children ran onto the landing and they were all terrified, and I stood there and I went, right, okay, somebody's downstairs. So I sneaked down and I opened the living room door to go in, and when I went in, the mirror that had been on the mantelpiece above where the clock used to be was on the floor on the rug, but it was facing upwards and it had one crack going through it. And I thought, that is so weird, because what we heard was smashing glass, like somebody putting a window in, you know, like really smashing up. And all it was a crack. But when I looked, I thought, that is weird. Because if it had fallen down off the wall and hit the mantelpiece, then, right, fair enough, you think, right, it could just land on its back. But how did it not knock any of the ornaments off that were on the mantelpiece as it fell down? And that was the part that got me, because it was like it must have been just lifted up off the wall. The string was still on the back of it, the nail was still in the wall, so it was like someone had just lifted it up and then thrown it down. But the amount of glass that we had smashing didn't tally with what we saw. So you can imagine my children were terrified. And then there was another incident where my eldest boy was running down the stairs with my youngest boy, and there was a picture on the top of the landing, and it was like a collage of all the photographs of the family, and it flew at him. It just flew at him and he screamed, and I'm like, there's definitely something here, but who is it and why, and we don't know. And then I had this doll's house. Oh my gosh, I had two, and they were collector's items, so they were not children's ones. And one of them, it had all the furniture built in and everything, and it was a really lovely house, like a Victorian doll's house, and it had the figurines as well. And one of them was a figurine of a daddy, and it had like a grey suit. And I used to hear all kinds of stuff going on in that doll's house, like things moving about in it. So I started watching it, and the furniture would move all the time. And one night I thought, this is just really weird, but I locked my bedroom door because I had a lock on my door, because for different reasons. One, because my daughter always nicked all my jewellery and I couldn't have nothing to myself, so I started locking my bedroom door so no one could go in it but me, and only I had the key. Anyway, I goes out one night, and my partner, who I was with then, this was at a separate time, and he called me and he said, is anybody in the house? And I said, just you, I'll be back soon. And when I came back I said, what's up? And he said, something's weird. He said, when you went out the bedroom, your bedroom, everything started moving about, like furniture scraping across the floor and everything, and I heard loads of racket. So I went up and I opened my bedroom door, and the doll's house was just, all the furniture in one room was just thrown everywhere, and the daddy was laid on his back with his leg up his back, and it was like somebody had snapped his limbs off, right, and his arm was up here and his leg was behind his back and everything. And I went, oh my god. Anyway, it's really funny, I got the paranormal team to come round that I was part of at the time, and I said, can you do an investigation in my house? And they went, yeah, we'd love to do one. So I told them what was going on, and they sent me a lady who I didn't know, and her partner, and we were sat downstairs, and the guy was called Stuart, and I've forgotten her name, but anyway, he took my partner into the other room with the other guy, and they were all talking, and I was left in the room with this one lady. And while she was talking to me, at the back chair by the back window, I saw a little head coming up above the chair, like just a child-size head. And she went, can you see that? And I'm like, oh my god. And I went, there's a child? And she went, yeah, it's a child. She said it's the child that plays with the doll's house. And I went, what the hell? And she said, the child is throwing things around in the doll's house, and who's it attacking in the doll's house? And I went, the male figure with the suit. She said, the daddy figure, yeah? And I went, yeah. She said, does anything else get broken in that doll's house, like the mum and the child and the baby and the other rooms? And I said, no, only the rooms that the dad's in. And she went, that's because she is trying to tell you that your partner needs to get out of this house. And I'm like, oh my god, wow. Anyway, I'm cutting a very long story short, because a lot of stuff's gone on over years with things like that. But what they did that night is they set up cameras, and they put one in my bedroom and they put one in my daughter's bedroom, because my daughter, she was a teenager at the time. This is the second round, by the way, because the first round of poltergeist activity calmed down for a few years and then came back again, right? The same house, right? So this was the second time, and by this time my daughter was saying things like, things keep getting moved in my bedroom, like somebody's going in my school bag and moving things about in there, and I keep feeling somebody brushing my hair and touching me, and I don't like it, Mum, she said. Anyway, when they put the cameras up, they attached it so that you could watch it on the downstairs TV in the living room. So we all had turns at going upstairs, and the others were staying downstairs to watch it, and it was live. So, and what we did is we turned the lights off in the rooms, and then you could get night vision, and then you could see all the orbs. And in my bedroom, the orbs were coming from the corner of the room, and then they were going around the doll's house and flying around it like that. And then in my daughter's bedroom, they were flying around her bed. So it was really cool. Anyway, this lady who was a psychic, who I was sat with, said the little girl was mine, who I lost, who I never met. And I'd had a miscarriage before my eldest daughter. And she said, that's who it is, it's your child. And she's trying to tell you that she doesn't like your partner and she wants him to leave because he's not good for you. And she's the little girl who goes in a big sister's room and goes through her things, and she's the one who strokes her hair. Anyway, I took some photographs of my youngest daughter, and on so many of them there's this orb right near her all the time. She's surrounded by them. And when I used to take the photos, she'd say, Mum, I can feel something there. And I'd take the photograph and there'd be these orbs. So that was really cool. And there was one incident, oh my God. This is the first time we had the poltergeist, when the pictures flew off the wall and things like that. And oh my gosh, and I went down to work at the bottom of my road, and it was in an old vicarage. And when I used to go there, I had to do all the locking up, so all the shutters would come down and then I had to lock the door. So this was turned into a nursery, this old vicarage. And so it was like a daycare centre, and then upstairs was meeting rooms and staff rooms and things like that. And this poltergeist followed me to work. And this one night I was at work and I went into the nursery, which was like a walk-through, like one room that walked round into another room. And while I was doing the first part of the room, which is where they did all the paintings and drawings, I heard all these toys going off around the corner in the other room. Like, you know, all these battery-operated toys that make noises, like dolls and bears and trains and all this. So it goes round the corner, and every single toy is going off at the same time. And I'm like, what the chuff in here? What the chuff? How's that happened? So I picked one up to take the battery out, and there was no batteries in. And the next day I went down there and I said, I need to talk to you about stuff that's going on at work. And they all went, what's happening? So I told them, and they went, oh, no, we're not having that in here. And I said, I looked at a toy last night and there was no battery in it, even though it was all going off. And they went, the batteries get took out every day. None of them had batteries in. And I'm like, oh my God. So after that I was terrified, and I'd go down and the electrics would just go off, and because the shutters were down it would just plunge into blackness, and it was so frightening. And I'd say, can I please bring somebody to work with me, because I'm just terrified. And they went, we're sorry, but you can't because of the law. Even though there's no children in the building when you come, you're still not allowed. And this one night, oh my God, I was in the nursery again, and the room above the nursery was the conference room, and it had this huge desk that could seat about 20 people. And then they had all these chairs that were fold-up chairs, and they used to fold them up and put them all up against one wall. So this one night I'm at work and I hear this almighty clatter and bang, oh my God, and scraping. Bonnie, this is Bonnie. And I was absolutely petrified, because it was all coming. Bonnie, Mommy's filming. It was all coming from the room above. So I sneaked up the stairs and I was absolutely shaking like a leaf. And when I got up there, I opened the door, and in that room, I swear, every single chair was just thrown all over the floor. And I'm trying to reason in my mind, saying, what if they just toppled over, right? And you think, well, that's feasible. But if they toppled, they would have just fallen down where they were. They wouldn't have ended up at the other end of the room, which was like 30 foot long. Oh my God, I couldn't wait to get home from there. And I was so scared, and I'm saying I can't stand it, because I would go there at 6 o'clock at night, and it was winter time, so it was already dark. And it was just horrendous, and I thought, I don't know if I can keep my job. And then suddenly it all stopped. So I have had poltergeist activity my whole life. Now I'm just going to tell you something that's really funny. Every time somebody is trying to get me, and I've come across some really dodgy people in my life, really dodgy. If I walk into a room where they are, right, and that person is doing something, the lights will go off and come back on again, and it's really funny. It hasn't happened for a while, but it happened in another place where I was, and every time I'd go into the reception, she'd go, "What is it with you?" And I'd go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Every time you come in here, the lights go on and off." And I started laughing, and I thought, I better not tell her. It's a ghost, right? Because she follows me, and it's somebody telling me something like, "Watch out." And I always get warnings about it, and it's so hilarious. So we are living in two worlds, this one and another, and sometimes they come together. And it is Halloween soon, so I'm going to do an Halloween walk, and I'm hoping that I find something in the night time. And I don't know whether to do a coastal walk or a forest one or something like that, but I think it'll be interesting to go and see if I can catch anything. So I just thought I'd tell you, I've had loads of ghost experiences in my life. That's just one, and that isn't the whole story either. And you know what, I said I was going to do some videos and invite people on, so that's the kind of thing I want to hear. If anybody's got a story and you want me to read it out, or you want to come and say it, let's talk about stuff, because it's so kind of taboo even now, isn't it? Because people still laugh at you and say you're crazy, even when you can prove that things happen. And I've had things happen to me with an audience there, so we must all be crazy at the same time. But I just find it all really cool. So anyway, it's just a quick vlog because I'm going out soon. It's getting dark early now. It's raining. Puppy's licking me to death because she wants some attention. Don't worry, boo boo. Every time I come on. So I'm going to go for now. I'll be back on in a bit.